Hello. Back again. We're going to finish up our little duck boy here. I did a video on him, on how the process of how I made this little guy. I kind of shared some tips on how to make this sort of shape. I do apologize, my light's a little bit on the fritz, so this is what we're working with. So to start with, you're going to want a felting needle, at least one. There are, just with a lot of other crafting tools, different varieties of these, but you can pick up a relatively cheap pack of these, like a starter pack of these from either a Hobby Lobby or Amazon. They have little kits. Another thing you want to have, or at least how I do it, is to add details. I like these little yarn needles. They're great for sewing in loose ends on the crochet. And I like it because you can spread it apart and it allows you to feed a lot shorter ends in there. Also got this white wool yarn. So this is a single ply, meaning all this is wool roving, just spun together. I get this little sorry, there's wool on there. Whole ball of yarn. That's just straight wool. Now, I will say it's important, pay attention to what type of wool you have, because from experience, Ignore or rabbit wool does not work well. The other things I have in this case are this is actually charcoal, I believe was the color of this wool, and this lovely blue. So what we're going to do to start off is feed the wool through a little yarn needle here and find a good spot for his eyes. So I like to take and start on one side, pick where I want the eyes to go. Go ahead and go up, like so. Pull it through until almost all the tail is through, and go right where that tail is. Go ahead and go to the other side. Now, how many times you're going to want to repeat this depends on how big your space is and how big your eyes are, or any detail really that you're trying to put on here. But you're going to sit there and just copy what you did on the other side. For something this small, you could stick with this, but you see how this one's pulled through a lot more. Just means we didn't catch the right stitch. So we're going to repeat that again. So we have about the same amount on either side. We're going to go ahead and cut a little bit of this excess off. Don't toss it. We are going to use this little waste piece right here in a minute. And honestly, if you're doing this method and you end up with some wool like this because you just cut too much off or whatever, this piece is still pretty usable for doing this, but say it was shorter, just put that to the side, because this is a nice, lovely white wool, and you just twist it the opposite direction of the way it's spun, and you can get some roving. All right, so we're going to take our little felting needle. Now be very careful. This needle has like a jagged edge here. Let's see if I can get it. Yep. See these little points in the edge, a little bit hard to see, but they will hurt if you stab yourself. So I like to place my hand back down below where I'm trying to hit, or you get a foam felting pad. We're just going to stick these ends. You're just going to go right where these ends are sticking at. Kind of stuff them in the yarn. It helps if you kind of like wrap them in the needle like this. And then stab them down. And this just can get this white bit out of the way so we don't accidentally pin it down underneath where we're going. Then we're going to take our black, pull out kind of a little bit of a start. It's better if you start with less, because you can always add more. And we're going to kind of lay it across where we're working. Kind of guesstimate the shape of the eye. I like to go around the outside. And you can always take your needle here and push it over before stabbing it in. That way we can get it off this beak here. So we're going to give them nice little oval eyes here. Once more, you want to be careful doing this because this is a sharp needle. You can stab yourself with it. And then once we start getting the shape kind of going right, we're just going to set it all the way around. Just get all these loose ends. So you get something, you can see a little bit of this white showing, but we're not going to worry too much about that. It's not going to be too much of a problem. If anything, you can come at it from behind it and kind of try to push the yarn towards the direction. And you can always add more black to it as well. So that's what we're going to do. Take just a little piece. See, it's not very much. Oh, not that much. We're not giving them eyebrows today. Okay. Get it positioned right where we need it to, and kind of just add it all along in. Once more. So you're going to come at it from different angles to kind of get that rounded shape going, because you want to catch all that extra. Just a little bit of white left showing, but we're not going to worry too much about it. So we're going to move on to the other eye. I like to do these in sets before I start adding the color, so that way I have a chance to modify the eyes to look the same. And so since we already have one, we're going to kind of like keep trying to reference this other eye as we go. Start by getting it secured, and then start coming around the edge. Doing our best to get the same size and shape as we have this other one. And it's looking pretty consistent there. I will say the beak's kind of off anyway, so it's going to look a little weird. So now that we have two little black points here with our eyes, just make sure we get all that loose bit. Our strand back up. Go ahead and grab our color. Now you don't have to do this by any means. I just like to do this. I feel like it adds the character to the piece. I start here at the bottom and kind of work it into the bottom of the eye. When you're needle felting, if you feel like you grab too much, you're always able to cut the rest of that, or cut or pull the rest of that bit off. In this case, but it does take quite a bit to get color and stuff initially laid down, so we're going to be able to make this work. And if you have these loose threads, you can carry them around the end of the needle and then poke them in. So this is how we're looking right now. I'm sorry, I keep pulling it away. All right, I'll go again. Grab a little, try to grab about the same. And if you want to separate all this out before you get started, so we got even amounts of wool, it's whatever works for you. Same thing here. Try our best to gather this, get out of the way, Wing. To gather this wool up. And we'll reference this other eye here, make sure that it's still doing good. Once more, I do apologize for the lighting quality. As soon as I get that part fixed, I'll be happy to do another one of these videos. If you want to mention in the comment what you'd like to see me do the eyes on next, or if you'd like to see me do a different detail with this needle felting. So there is a little bit of a dip here on this eye. Not easy to see, but there isn't one here. It's kind of just flat along. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tip of the needle, see if we can grab this blue, push it down. We're going to do one more final thing all over both the whole eyes. All right. This is where our scrap piece came into play. So what we're going to do is we're going to take and just pull it apart. And then I'm going to take it between my fingers to get a nice little ball, like so. Because it was a scrap piece, both of these should be about the same size when you get done with them. We're going to figure out, place it here on the eye and kind of get that little highlight going. We're going to do right here towards the, just off of the center. And once more, going for a little bit more of a circular look. So just keep working the edges using the tip of the needle to press it in. like so. So we're going to take this bit, roll it between your fingers like this, till you get a nice little, kind of like wrapped up into a ball. We're going to place it and do our best to get it centered roughly in the right spot. One of the things I hate about the needle felting, it is very hard to fix some of these issues if you do get them off center. But I also feel like it gives a little more character to the animal, what have you, even if it looks a little derpy. Sometimes you can still shift it over. So this is where we're at. Extra wool floating around. Because of the way this guy's looking, we're actually going to give him another highlight right over here in the corner of his eyes. We're going to take that other piece of scrap. We need it to be a little bit smaller, so we're going to cut it right about here. Same thing. Pull it apart. Roll it into a little ball, or if you want to do more of an elongated shape, you can do that too. And we're going to place it right about here on the corner. Grab that tail that's trying to escape. And make a second little highlight. It does not want to go in initially for some reason. There we go. Give it a good couple stabs since it's not going to go in. Now it's secure. Alright, so that's where we're at. We're going to do the same thing on this side. Oh, it's up here on the needle. Now this is something you can actually do if you have a felting pad or a foam block. You can start out by making the entire eye on the felting pad and attach it after. You could even use it to make a patch basically that you sew onto your plush. I just prefer doing it straight on there so I know that this is getting connected with the wool and hopefully to the plushie. It also allows me to see things like how it's going to look overall and what kind of character it's going to give. So there we are. There's our finished little felted plushie. There are other details we could add here. We can add like little eyelashes or even maybe eyebrows if we needed to. But this is where we're going to stop. Once more, once I fix the lighting situation, I'll try to do another one of these. But now our little duck boy is complete. And he is good to go. Like I said, let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to see me make, or if there are any tips or tricks you have questions for.